September 11, 2001. Four passenger airlines, which had departed from airports in the northeastern United States bound for California, were hijacked by 19 Al-Qaeda terrorists. Two of the planes, American Airlines Flight 11 and United Airlines Flight 175, crashed into the north and south towers, respectively, of the World Trade Center complex in Lower Manhattan. Within an hour and 42 minutes, both 110-story towers collapsed. Debris and the resulting fires caused a partial or complete collapse in all other buildings in the World Trade Center complex, including the 47-story 7th World Trade Center tower, as well as significant damage to 10 other large surrounding structures. A third plane, American Flight 77, was crashed into the Pentagon, the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense, in Arlington County, Virginia, which led to a partial collapse of the building's west side. The fourth plane, United Airlines Flight 93, was initially flown towards Washington, D.C., but crashed into a field in Stony Creek Township, Pennsylvania, after passengers thwarted the hijackers. The September 11 attacks, also referred to as 9/11, were a series of four coordinated terrorist attacks by the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda against the United States on the morning of Tuesday, September 11, 2001. The attacks resulted in 2,977 fatalities, over 25,000 injuries, and substantial long-term health consequences, in addition to at least $10 billion in infrastructure and property damage. 9/11 is the single deadliest terrorist attack in human history and the single deadliest incident for firefighters and law enforcement officers in the history of the United States, with 343 and 72 killed respectively. Suspicion quickly fell onto Al-Qaeda. The United States responded by launching the war on terror and invading Afghanistan to depose the Taliban, which had failed to comply with US demands to expel Al-Qaeda from Afghanistan and extradite their leader Osama bin Laden. Many countries strengthened their anti-terrorism legislation and expanded the powers of law enforcement and intelligence agencies to prevent terrorist attacks, although bin Laden initially denied any involvement. In 2004, he claimed responsibility of the attacks. If we come to the timeline of attack, early on the morning of September 11, 2001, 19 hijackers took control of four commercial airlines, two Boeing 757s and two Boeing 767s. The four flights were American Flight 11, a Boeing 767 aircraft, departed Logan Airport at 7:59 a.m. en route to Los Angeles with a crew of 11 and 76 passengers, not including 5 hijackers. The hijackers flew the plane into the northern facade of North Tower of World Trade Center in New York City at 8:46 a.m. United Airlines Flight 175, Boeing 767 aircraft, departed Logan Airport at 8:14 a.m. en route to Los Angeles with a crew of 9 and 51 passengers, not including 5 hijackers. The hijackers flew the plane into the southern facade of the South Tower of World Trade Center in New York City at 9:03 a.m. American Airlines Flight 77, a Boeing 757 aircraft, departed Washington Dulles International Airport at 8:20 a.m. en route to Los Angeles with a crew of 6 and 53 passengers, not including 5 hijackers. The hijackers flew the plane into the western facade of the Pentagon in Arlington County, Virginia at 9:37 a.m. United Airlines Flight 93, a Boeing 757 aircraft, departed Newark International Airport at 8:42 a.m. en route to San Francisco with a crew of 7 and 33 passengers, not including 4 hijackers. As passengers attempted to subdue the hijackers, the aircraft crashed into a field in Stony Creek Township near Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m. Less than 15 minutes after the terrorists struck the nerve center of the US military, The horror in New York took a catastrophic turn when the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed in a massive cloud of dust and smoke. The structural steel of the skyscraper, built to withstand winds in excess of 200 miles per hour, and a large conventional fire could not withstand the tremendous heat generated by the burning jet fuel. At 10:30 a.m., the north building of the Twin Towers collapsed. Only 6 people in the World Trade Center towers at the time of their collapse survived. Almost 10,000 others were treated for injuries, many severe. A total of 2,996 people were killed in the 9/11 attacks, including the 19 terrorist hijackers aboard the 4 airplanes. Citizens of 78 countries died in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. At the World Trade Center, 2,763 died after the 2 planes slammed into the Twin Towers. That figure included 343 firefighters and paramedics, 23 New York City police officers, and 37 Port Authority officers who were struggling to complete an evacuation of the buildings and save the office workers trapped on higher floors. At the Pentagon, 189 people were killed, including 64 on American Airlines 77, the airliner that struck the building on Flight 93. 44 people died when the plane crash landed in Pennsylvania. How America responded to these attacks. At 7 p.m., President George W. Bush, who was in Florida at the time of attack and had spent the day being shuttled around the country because of security concerns, returned to the White House. At 9 p.m., he delivered a television address from the Oval Office declaring, "Terrorist attacks can shake the foundation of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shatter steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve." In a reference to the eventual US military response, he declared, "We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them."